Minutes or so. Now, I've got a very special guest here. Those of you who listen loyally, as many of you do, will remember an interview that created more feedback than any other this year, and that was my chat with the England visually impaired cricketer Hassan Khan. Now, I spoke to Hassan, we were in Johannesburg from memory, he was in Australia as part of the England team which won the Blind Ashes, and he has an extraordinary story. You may remember that Hassan was born in Pakistan, in a small village just outside Multan, which we know well. One day he woke up blind. He moved to England with his family and learned about cricket by listening to Test Match Special. Well, as I said at the time, we had to meet face to face. And here it is. Today's the day, Hassan. It's lovely to see you, lovely to meet you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It's an absolute honour. I know there's been so many special people in this chair, so it's a privilege to meet the voice of the nation at last.
Well, there you go. Well, none, I have to say, I think as special as your story. I mean, it is. It's one of those stories where, and obviously, you know, building up to the Paralympics now as well, you know, there will be other extraordinary, remarkable tales of sportsmen overcoming enormous difficulties and so on. But for you to be playing cricket for England from where it all began, I mean, can you still believe that this is what you're doing, actually?
No, honestly, I have to pinch myself every day of my life to know where I was, and then to be sitting here and then to be pulling on the England shirt first time in Sri Lanka in 2005. It's what dreams are made of, and you know, we all have a story to tell. Everyone's got a special story. I just happen to be a very, very lucky individual who got his chances and took them.
But see, then that's remarkable, the way that you say that you're lucky.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I am. I mean, I always believed that I was in the right place at the right time. It did take some perseverance on my behalf because, as you said, having lost my sight at the age of 3, I was left for dead in Pakistan in a small village of, what, 400 or 500 people, where there was no education for me, let alone my family. No one understood anything about blindness or disability in general. No education until the age of 10. Couldn't speak a word of English. It was a new life for me when I arrived at Heathrow Airport. I couldn't actually, when I arrived at Heathrow Airport, I thought there was something wrong because, you know, where I walked in my village, there's soil everywhere, and I was suddenly feeling firm ground underneath me. I said, is this all right? I genuinely cannot believe what's happened to me, and I always think that I hope and I wish that this kind of story helps someone else come forward. This kind of story helps someone else to come forward and play for England like I did, because cricket is a vehicle and it's helped me to achieve much more than just playing for England, which is...
In what way, Hassan? Tell us how cricket has helped you.
I mean, before the age of 17, I hadn't gone outside my home. I couldn't actually have talked to people in terms of just sighted people. I didn't know how to hold conversations. Proper conversations. Now I talk too much, but also it was the actual mixing with the outside world that I was deprived from. And when I was invited to play for Metro in London at the age of 17, I told you this before, that going on the tube was just a terrifying experience. I remember my team colleague Adam Benjamin, who came over to Tooting Bec and took me all the way to Highgate. And I thought, next time, I have to do this myself. If I'm going to grow up to be a man and achieve all the dreams that I have in this head of mine, then you're going to have to do something. And when I saw the Metro team and these guys had good jobs, good lives, wives, and I thought, this is what I've had in my mind from the age of, well, as soon as I arrived into England. Can you do it?
Yeah. I would imagine that you must inevitably go through quite a frustrated and angry stage, don't you? When, I don't know what age that would have happened to you, but I guess at some stage in your life you would have felt that before you found cricket, would you?
Yeah, cricket's been a medicine for me. It's a healer. Every time something happens in my life that is on the verge of tragic, cricket's always there to pick me up. I mean, to be honest with you, I always say I'm also very, very lucky to be involved with very good charities, and I work for a charity as well, the Thomas Pocklington Trust, so I'm very, very lucky to have a full-time job. But cricket's an enabler, and it's enabled me to achieve a lot in my life.
I'm going to hear all about your fielding in a minute, Hassan, which sounds mad to me. But anyway, let's have a quick chat with Ian Martin, who's the head of disability cricket at the ECB. I don't know, I suppose you do hear a lot of inspirational stories in what you do. I mean, this is at the top of the tree, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're, as the original interview, when that was broadcast, it was a special piece of radio, and I think he's gone and done it again, hasn't he?
Yes.
I'm really lucky in the line of work that I'm in, that with 4 national disability squads, everybody who's a part of those squads has got a backstory. Not all as spectacular as Hassan's, but each of the individuals that have worked so hard to be part of our national squads have overcome a disability and the barriers and obstacles that disabilities present in society, and they've overcome those and managed to excel on the cricket field.
Yeah, and I mean, has cricket, is that like a common denominator in a way? Is it cricket that's done it?
Well, Hassan's just described it as a medicine for his situation, and I can certainly relate to that with my own disability, and you know, most of the players I think that you'll speak to in any of our squads will all say that cricket has helped them to achieve what they want to achieve in life, and you know, it's special. It's a great environment to be involved in.
Yeah. Hassan, we broadcast a lot of blind listeners, and they sit there and they tell me off sometimes if I don't get the detail quite right, and quite right too. And I was always told when I started this job, imagine someone who can't see, because after all, what's the difference if they're not here? It makes no difference. You've got to be really accurate. What I've never really understood and be able to fathom is if you've never seen cricket, you've never actually watched a game of cricket, what it looks like to you, how it appears to you.
I wish I could explain that to you, because growing up and listening to cricket on TMS, I always pictured it in my head and imagined myself being there at the crease, and therefore just by you explaining the fielding positions, I learnt where square leg was or where mid wicket was. So when I went in to play for Metro the first time, or for England, I knew those fielding positions thanks to you. And it was because I could picture being there, being the batsman, being the bowler, being the deep fine leg fielder. It's just by your descriptions.
And you can picture the ground, you can picture the grass, you can picture the stumps, all of that. It does somehow. It does all the jigsaw pieces do fit.
It always fits in. And then when I started to come and watch and listen to cricket at these grounds, the smell of grass, and it all just brought it back home. Your commentary is amazing, and I know many of my friends listen to it, and in fact when I did my interview in January, a lot of people actually took the mickey out of me for saying Jonathan every 5 minutes, and it was because, and I want to explain this, because it was because I was starstruck. You know, the voice of the nation, the guy who did equestrian, archery, cricket. I mean, and I grew up playing a video game that your voice was on as well. Oh yeah,
far too repetitive.
Oh yeah.
I know. Tell me, when you're watching a game like today, this is an astonishing day, do you sit with headphones on, or are you just savouring the atmosphere and listening to it and feeling the game, even though you can't see it? Does it somehow have a rhythm? Does it do something to you?
Yeah, I'm all about the atmosphere. I'll have one earphone in, the other ear will be picking out the atmosphere. I'll be talking to people, whoever wants to listen to me around me, talking about the game. And people will pick up and they say, "Oh, hold on, you're blind. How did you just know the ball went to mid-wicket?" I said, "Well, I can sometimes tell when the ball is hit off the bat." But yeah, I love the atmosphere, but the commentary also enables me to know what's going on exactly on the pitch.
Yeah. There's no blind cricket in the Paralympics, of course, is there? But is that something you can ever see happening? Of course, I mean, actually, this sort of cricket's trying to get into the Olympics itself, isn't it?
I think it would be fantastic if we can achieve that. I think it might be a few years away yet,
yes.
But I think if there's any form of disability cricket that could be successful at Paralympic level, it would be blind cricket.
Yes.
I think the Paralympic movement looks for, I think, 24 countries to be participants in a particular sport before it can be granted entry into the Paralympics. So cricket's got a way to go before we get that sort of numbers. But when you think of participation levels, particularly in the subcontinent, and the work and investment that goes into disability cricket over here, I think there could be a case made for including blind cricket, even with the number of countries we've got playing now.
Yeah. And what other disabilities do you have? I mean, there are different sections, really, aren't there, that you come under your umbrella, as it were?
Yeah.
So it's not just blind or
no, it isn't. We've got 4 different impairment groups. So we've got blind and visually impaired, we've got deaf and hearing impaired, we've got physical disabilities, and also intellectual impairment as well. So we cater for a large section of the disabled community, offering pathways from grassroots level right the way up to England.
And they all go on tour? They all play other countries?
All the national squads have got international programmes, yeah. So we're fortunate in that regard. So as you heard before, the blind cricketers won their Ashes series 5-1 out in Australia earlier this year, which was nice. Our physical disability team are off to Dubai at the end of October to play Bangladesh, Afghanistan, India and Pakistan in a 5-team tournament. You may recall the physical disability team won their World Cup last year.
Indeed, in Bangladesh.
Yeah. So that tournament's taking place at the end of October. And then we've got the blind guys going out to India in January for their T20 World Cup. So it doesn't stop. It's an all year round programme.
I mean, people will be amazed, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful, isn't it? What opportunities everybody gets these days. Before we hear about your fielding, Hassan, what's it like touring? I mean, my dad's eyesight is starting to fail him, and I know he's very comfortable in his home environment, and he's fine. Take him out of that, and life's difficult. What's it like when you suddenly land in Australia to go on tour and play in the Ashes, for goodness sake, or you're going to India for the T20, if you're selected, I'll add as a rider. That must be very confusing, I would think. How do you find your way around? How do you settle into your surroundings?
Touring has simply made me develop from a boy to a man. I mean, being on tour with the England team in 2005 in Sri Lanka, I quickly picked up that there are exceptional people in and around the squad who will help you, the management. And with the ECB coming in, there's plenty of staff that will help you. But also, you've got to have a little bit of initiative. You've got to be a little bit more smart. So generally, for example, in Australia, I had my roommates helping me. And then once I knew where I was, where everything was, I tend to just walk around. I'm afraid I'm fearless when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yes, well, it's only fearless in the field, so come on. You field in a ridiculously close position, don't you? You're sort of at short leg, where I would imagine in visually impaired cricket the ball goes quite a lot, and you just take it on the body, don't you?
Having played for England about over 30 times now, my mum's only ever been to 2 matches, simply for this reason. I field at short square leg where the ball travels extremely hard, as you put it. I'll give you an example. A West Indian in Zimbabwe hit a ball. He drove a ball, was standing 10-15 yards from the bat, and I just put my head up and I thought, I can't catch this. I've got to get something on it, and it was my face. And it hit the visor and it just shattered. It just shattered. And I just turned around and said, could I have another helmet, please? and that's the thing. I mean, look, I want to be involved. If I was partially sighted or sighted, I think I'd be a keeper. I want to be involved in the game every ball. And I think being at short square leg involves me in it. And I just want to say that it's thanks to our wicket keeper in the England team and the boys who are world class in ensuring that I'm supported and I field well.
Yes, so you're just led into position there. You stand there and you get on with it.
Yeah. And if I do stop something that I can't pick up, a keeper Dan will run in and get it. And it's communication is vital in all sorts of sports, but in our sport, in cricket, is even more so.
Right. In what way? Just explain that to me then.
Well, I mean, for example, I'll give you a little example. When a bowler is bowling, a B1 bowler, which means totally blind, he will call the wicketkeeper. The wicketkeeper will give him an off-stump call or a middle stump call. The bowler will then aim to bowl towards the keeper's voice.
Wow, so is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, that is a simple example of communication. And as an example, when I'm standing 10 yards from the bat and a batsman smashes it, Dan will often sometimes see it at so late and will then say, left. And if I don't go down, then I'm in trouble. But yeah, communication is vital. But
Yeah.
I also just want to say just a couple of things on that, actually, because I think it's really important to highlight that people have said I'm inspirational, but I really want to say those lads in our team, they're the exceptional people we've got 3 or 4 of the best world-class all-rounders in the world now, and I think we're ready to compete with India and Pakistan.
Yeah. It does sound as if you are a really close-knit unit, actually, all of you together.
Yeah, absolutely. Camaraderie is part and parcel of the game, and we are very, very close-knit. We literally wake up at 5, 6 a.m. and we don't part until we go to bed. So we dine together, we play together. We're very closely knit.
You look after each
We're
other.
like a family. We are like a family.
Yeah.
Like I said in January, it was like playing with 10 other brothers.
And the ball.
Yes.
Now, it's full of ball bearings,
Yes.
so it sort of jingle jangles.
Yes.
What sort of noise does it make?
Well, it's a small white ball. Very
What sort of
hard.
size? It's size of the palm of your hand?
Yeah, like a tennis size ball, plastic,
So
hard
quite
plastic.
small, actually.
Yeah, quite small, with a little seam around it, and it sounds like, and the best way I can explain it is, sounds like a annoying baby's rattle. It rattles towards you at a great pace. It's not a one single bell; it's a rattle.
Right, and I'm again making a big assumption, because you can't see. Have other faculties taken? Are you hearing times 200% or something more than I would be, for instance? I mean, are you really acutely tuned into the sound of that?
Yes. I will actually, before a tour, before an important match, and people might actually not believe this, but I actually put the ball sound in a recording and listen to it on headphones, just so I can adjust, just so even the finest of tickles down to fine leg, I can pick up which way it's going.
It's remarkable. It really is. Ian, I mean, people will be inspired by this. Of course they will. Let's hope they are to get involved. How do people get involved in disability cricket? What's the starting point?
In the first instance, through county boards, and the county boards will be aware of where these activities are happening. So if there is a youngster with an impairment that's listening to this and wants to get involved in disability cricket, then the county board is the first place to start.
Right, and there is a network, is there? I mean, literally all over the country.
Well, with blind cricket in particular, there's an organisation called Blind Cricket England and Wales that are an affiliate of ECB, who run a national county championship as well as a development league for new players, those matches take place all over the country.
Yeah.
And it's similar with physical and learning disability cricket. There's inter-county competition that takes place throughout the summer.
Do you find with the Paralympics on that there is a bit more interest actually in disability cricket? Does that provoke
It's
that?
been interesting, really, because I think nationally we thought 2012 would be we'd cross the threshold with disability sports after the Paralympic Games, and personally I didn't really see it in cricket because we're not a Paralympic sport, but we were doing a lot of good stuff already. So whether 2012 happened or not, cricket was still doing some good things in engaging the disabled community and getting more disabled people playing. So whilst 2012 came along and there was a surge in interest in disability sport, cricket never saw a peak, but it never saw a dip either, because we were doing pretty much the right thing before 2012, and the latest Sporting and Active People surveys is backing that up as well. We've got a growth in the sport, in participation, and you might be aware of some restructuring that's gone on with the recreational game within ECB. We've just recruited another national manager for the growth of disability cricket to work alongside myself, who looks after the performance side. So we are moving in the right direction. The game is open to all, and I think what we're trying to do at ECB, and being the world leader in developing disability cricket, is making sure that disabled people are recognised for the value and the contribution that they can make to our game.
Brilliant. Hassan, it's lovely to have met you finally.
Likewise.
It's wonderful that cricket that we all love has played such a huge part in your life. It's amazing, isn't it?
No, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Can I just say one more thing?
You've said a lot already, Hassan.
I know, but it's important I get this, because Ian talked about grassroots. When I started, there was 40 to 70 players playing. Now there's over 400.
Really?
And I just want to say a huge congratulations to Surrey Visually Impaired Cricket Team, who've just won the Development 2020 Cup on Sunday, and their league. And that just goes to show how many youngsters are playing blind cricket. So if you're interested, please search for it on Google, look on Twitter and Facebook.
You're a good man, and good luck in the future. Hey, good luck with that fielding.
Thank you.
Do you ever score any runs as well, by the way? I forgot to ask you that.
I try to score runs, yeah.
Good lad.
I get the old 40 and 9 again.
Good man. Hassan Khan, everybody, and Ian Martin too from the ECB. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and seeing us through this interval. It's an inspirational story, and there we are. As we said, there are many ways in which you can get involved with cricket at all sorts of level and all sorts of types.